We're going to be looking at the ongoing call by the Edo State government to probe the Nddc, talking about failed projects in Edo State. And we understand that very recently the ad hoc committee on abandoned projects came all the way from House of Representatives in Abuja to Edo State. So they were on a fact-finding mission to see some of the ongoing Nddc projects in Edo State. And our own Sergius Oguns, who is the chairman of that committee, also did his finding. Well, to look at all this today, we are so privileged to have pharmacist Uyi Oriahi, a politician and a political analyst, public affairs analyst. Sir, welcome to this program this morning on ITV.
Thank you, Evans.
Yeah. We also have Ihimekme or Haridia. Sir, welcome to this program this morning on ITV.
Good morning, viewers.
Yeah.
Good morning.
And also, we're also going to be looking at some of the strategies that political parties are adopting, trying to put in place as these parties prepare for the 2020 governorship election next year. Gentlemen, you're welcome one more time.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now, just like what I said recently, there was a call by the Edo State government to probe the Nddc, ongoing projects in Edo State. Now, what do we think may have informed this decision? I'll start with Haridia.
Yeah, I think the statement came, as usual, as statement from politicians, like a meteorite. It didn't mean anything to anybody. Because I think what was our result to this is because we know there was a power play of struggle which would produce the chairman or the commissioner representing Edo State in the Nddc. Maybe because somebody has fallen out of the way, then he's coming to say, call for the and call for the. Why did you not call for the water project? Why don't the water storm? We have a water storm about us on us. We have the dilapidating roads. When you do a road today, next week they are off. In 10 years' time, if something is not done to Benin City, it will sink. Benin City will sink. But we are seeing nothing. We are not.
Benin City will not sink.
Yeah, let's see. If nothing is done, look at flood everywhere. If there was rain, I will come here. So what I'm telling you, why don't you remove the log in your face before the other person's face? You have so many things around you, you are not probing. Probe, listen, let our policy reflect our belief. Probe what you have in your place first, that is within you. Look at the road project that have become a laughing stock. Look at our project like Akwata University. You look at the hospital. You are not probing any of these things. You are talking about Nddc. Nddc is a federal government parastatal. It is not for your profit. Everybody can make the statement. We just saw it as a statement made. He just made the statement as usual. Because if you are going to say, a politician must have something to say. Oh, probe for the past 10 years. If you had won, if you had succeeded in bringing the Nddc commissioner and the chairman, will you say so? Will he say so?
Anyway,
so what I'm saying, we said what I think that must have emanated this kind of statement. The statement is that because he has a faith in his bid to produce the commissioner and this.
But did the governor tell you that he was interested in bringing the commissioner?
We are in Edo State. We know what is happening. Should I be telling you, want me to give you the cartography of what is happening? We will tell you he submitted, the other people submitted, 2 groups submitted, and 1 group visited the other person. That's the thing. It's like commission, it's like minister. This one submitted, this one submitted. We knew who won. So that is the thing. So what I'm saying is that our policy should reflect our belief. If I believe in democracy or the franchise, if I believe in particularity, let it reflect my, not when anything is happening. You have not been able to remove the log in your face. You are talking about the name in another person's face. I've just told you, Edo people are much more interested in what happens around them. Look at the water project, the water storm. Look at Atoya Akwata. Look at the hospital. Look at it. Nothing is done. You are not probing these things. Give me an opportunity to probe the dilapidating roads. When the road is started, the next week is down. I just told you that in 10 years, if something is done to Benin City, it will sink.
No, Benin City will not sink. I don't want you to be of that opinion. Now, pharmacist Uyi, I don't know if you share the same opinion with Ihimekme.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
I differ sharply on this. First of all, let me commend the governor for coming out with such a statement and correct some impressions which people have concerning governance and the way government does its business. You see, that statement made by our dear governor is a statement you will not even hear from many politicians. He didn't go on air just to make that statement. There was an occasion for it. The ad hoc committee from the Federal House of Representatives came visiting the governor, and they were on the mission to inspect projects that had not yet been completed or abandoned projects, so to speak, by the Nddc. And the governor had to, hear his mind. And I believe that's one of the reasons many in the political class do not really like a governor like this, because he says it the way he sees it. Now, at the end of the day, what the governor said was corroborated by the state director of Nddc, Bugbemi Ogo, that yes, a committee has also been set up, to look at these concerns raised
on their own side,
on the
side of Nddc.
Nddc, to look at the concerns raised by the governor. Now, the governor went ahead to make a statement. He said there was a tripartite agreement.
Funding agreement
between the Nddc and the state government. In this agreement, Nddc was to provide 40% of the funds, while state government provides 60% of the funds. Then an account was opened to that effect. Up till that moment, the Nddc had not submitted anything into it. But what the governor was even saying was the 20 billion emergency fund allotted to Edo in the past 6 months to check erosions and all that. You saw the devastating effect of erosion a few weeks back when there was this heavy downpour in Edo. And there's this road at Apostolic Street. Where
that's the road in contention now.
In contention, with massive destruction of properties and all that. So the governor was angry as a result of that. And when that occasion came for a visit, he made that statement. And the statement was corroborated by the state director of the Nddc. But you see, in the act that established Nddc, there is, under the functions and power of Nddc board, there is a provision that allows for a collaboration between state government, federal government, and the Nddc.
When you say collaboration, in what sense are you saying exactly? Are you saying that the state government has a kind of a supervisioning role on the Nddc?
No. It's a partnership kind of thing. Okay. According to the Act, it said certain measures of development approved by the state should be implemented by the Nddc. The same thing for the federal government, certain measures of development in the state where the Nddc finds itself.
But we're not talking about the projects now, whether the projects were not approved or not. We are looking at what is really responsible for...
No, the idea that the state comes in using that clause also tells you that the state should be interested in how these jobs are done.
Okay, but my question to what you are saying now is that does the state not have a kind of a supervisory role on the project that Nddc does? Because like some other states,
they can supervise.
Okay,
they can supervise, but the supervision also has certain limitations, because the act establishing Nddc did not go ahead to spell it out. Even though there was an amendment of the act in 2017, it did not go that far to reflect these things. But
when you say, limitations, are we limitations to the detriment of the quality of job being done?
Listen, if, for example, the Nddc is told by the state government, look, this is an area we need something to be done about. This particular area, we are the ones who are saying, look, you need to help us in this particular area. There is a standard that the state demands.
Okay.
There is a standard that the state demands. So based on that standard, definitely the state will go back to look and see whether the standard of work that is going on there is one that they had approved. Now, the state is not going to choose contractors for Nddc. The state is not going to tell Nddc how it sources for people to do this job. But the state is only interested in one thing. Let the standard be met.
Okay, let me come to Himekme one more time. Now, Himekme, if you go around some of the projects that NDDC is handling in Edo State,
yes.
Are we really saying that this, some of these projects have not failed? Is that what we're saying?
No, first of all, let me clear one notion. NDDC is autonomous. It's not like state government.
Now, we know. That's not the issue now.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
So when you say the state wants what, state can only recommend certain area, they say they needed, like the federal government can do. So the NDDC comes to do what they want to do. Then I agree with you. Some of them are failed. I agree. Some of these projects, they have been backing on, for even from recession has failed.
So if some of them have failed, so why will you say that the state government is making
What I'm also saying is that they say we should re-examine ourselves. Take the biblical injunction, remove the log in your face. We have much more here. I has never made statement about the water storm, about the failed roads we are seeing. We are just mentioning one, this road that NDC is doing. What about the one we are doing?
Yeah, but we also understand that recently the state government had to make a statement concerning the Benin water storm project to the extent that he was going to probe the past administration. I'm saying this because of what you are saying, that the Obaseki has not made reference to the Benin water storm project. We heard recently that Obaseki said that he was going to probe the last administration as it relates to the Benin water storm project.
I want to see these things done. Not when NDC is coming, because the committee is coming, or come to you and you say, we want to prove for the past 10 years, we want to prove for the five years. If you do your own first, then people will be interested, will be enthusiastic to say, oh, look at what this man is doing. The man has a standard, and it should meet that standard. What we are saying is that, naturally, from the session, NDC has never performed to expectation. Everywhere. I don't say it's not an exemption. But pinning down to say for the past 10 years what they are doing, prove this money, don't prove this money. There are much more in your pocket.
Yeah, but when you say NDDC has not performed to expectation,
they have not performed, because if you do a job that is substandard, wait, you know how these jobs are done. NDDC get up, will give it to a contractor. They also have their supervisor that will come and supervise whether it is done to standard. They come and look at it. If it's done to standard, they are processed, payments are made, if it's up to standard. And there are areas who the state government can also protest, say, this is not up to standard, the standard we will give you. However, they can also protest it. Those things are there. If those things are followed, I don't think there will be noise about not done or not be done. But what I'm also saying is that people are not happy with what is happening with our roads, which the state government is doing. We just put 1 inch cement and say you have done the road. It's not so. How many of this road that he has been doing, how many of them have survived one rainy season?
Okay. Now, I'll come to you, but...
So what we are saying is that remove the log in your face before talking about the enemy on our person's face.
Just to
go ahead.
To that. Even when the governor was making that statement, I mean, as I was talking to the ad hoc committee,
yes,
one of the statements he made was this, very, very clear. He said, they are causing us political problems. He explained further by saying, people cannot distinguish between the roads done by NDDC and the roads done by the state government.
And again, one of the greatest confusion that perhaps may have given to the people is that people really don't know which one is which now.
And
what I'm trying to say here is that for some people, the state government is really not doing anything. That's what that's just the impression of some people, because to them, the NDDC is handling some projects, the World Bank is handling some projects. So for them, the state government is not doing anything.
It was just
hold on.
That is a complete farce. That's a statement that
is a fact or is a farce?
It's a farce.
It's false?
It's false.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
The state government, definitely, World Banks are doing things, and they are doing their own bit. The state government is also doing its own. If we seek to understand which is which, I think we know where to go. The truth of the matter is that even under previous administration, you have these agencies also working pari passu. But the truth of the matter again is that the state is more interested in the standard we want to achieve. If, for example, you are governor of the state and at that point in time, certain bodies come to assist you in developing the state, you are happy. but you are interested, you want to be sure that what they are doing is what you have in your mind.
Yeah, pharmacist, I also want you, because something just came to my mind now. Now, the project we're talking about now, you know, relates to something that has been done in the past, or an amount that has been expended in the last 6 months. Now, just like what the Himegwe was trying to say, and perhaps the question on the minds of people is that how come it is now that the state's government is trying to ask questions? We're talking about 6 months money. Money, it's 20 billion naira that has been spent for the last 6 months. Why didn't the government ask questions in the past, I mean, before this time?
Who said they have not been asking?
They have not. Let me state it.
No, just hold on.
Who said they have not been asking questions? The governor also made a statement that he invited the body to his office to discuss this matter, but they ignored his call. He made that statement during this same forum.
That was during the same visit?
Yes, he said he invited them. He said invited them. They ignored his visit. I mean, because he also knows that he does not really have that absolute powers over them. So he rested. But he made that statement there. The truth of the matter is that it is this latest issue on, this flawed issue that occurred in Edo that is giving rise to the anger that the governor feels. 20 billion out of a fund of about 200 and something billion for the entire
nation
and Niger Delta area. Yeah. So 20 billion was allotted for emergency work. That is to say, those funds were allocated because it was seen that flooding will cause problem this very year. What the governor is saying is that if those monies were expended very well, the latest round of flooding that we have would have not gotten to that. Would have not had this kind of effect that it had in the state. I think a governor has a right to be angry if he feels that his people have been subjected to this kind of thing because of the negligence of a body who should have taken responsibility. You know. So when it came up, there are other issues, like the water storm project. There are massive work going on there. I had to visit there in the last 2 months, twice in the last 2 months. And there's massive work going there right now. Probably, instead of making that statement, oh, let us probe this, let us probe that, the man knows also that starting to work on it in the long run, you cannot, that's where everything will go to. Working on it. It has started. It's a laudable project. It is just that it was not well handled. And now he's handling it. There are a lot of things going on there right now because of this same issue of flooding that we know. Like Oga says, in the next 10 years, certain things will happen in the state, you know. But he's doing something about it. But again, let us take our mind to this NDDC thing. It's a 6 months thing that we were supposed to do, 20 billion naira. How was it expended? And let me also tell you, Sergius Ogo, the
House member representing,
came out to say that not just the last 6 months, they have had to inspect projects since 2012 that they are very much surprised at the level of job that NDDC has done in the state. Since 2012, they are not satisfied at all, and they are taking the report back to the House of Rep. That is not the governor making this noise. It is the House of Representatives ad hoc committee chairman.
And it's not even in the same party.
It's not in the same party with the governor. And besides, he's talking about times dating back to 2012 when another administration was on board in Benin. In Edo State, you can very well begin to draw insinuations from these things. Now, you cannot trust politicians. What happened? How come even the existing state government at the time in question did not think that anything was wrong with the shoddy job that NDDC was doing, with the abandonment of projects that was ongoing? You understand?
So where is your position exactly?
My position now is this. You know, I said, I commend the governor for coming out to say this.
But again, you just say you don't trust politicians. So are you trying to say that the governor is probably trying to play politics?
This is one of the reasons that amongst the political class, this governor is having issues because he says it the way it is. Yes, generally politicians, but the governor is somebody who is different from the fold, and he says it the way it is, and a lot of people are aggrieved by that. I read somewhere where he made a statement that you cannot leave governance to tout. Then somebody said, governance is not also for the educated people. You see, then people started arguing. They said he's so proud, he's so this.
Okay, well, let us not digress now. Let's stay on the issue. Now, you want to say something?
Yeah, you see, I want to correct one notion, saying people cannot decipher between state government projects, Nddc's projects, and World Bank projects. This is what led to Nddc's people now. Everybody putting their signboard there. You see some signboard say Nddc because state government was claiming many of these things. So when the Nddc had to evolve a system, look at our rules, they put the signboard there. Look at our World Bank, they put their signboard there. That is to differentiate between what the state government claims to be doing and the one for Nddc or other international agencies. Then, what I think you are saying over for the past 3 months, for the past 5 months, for the past 6 months, what has he been doing? Why will he have to wait for 3 years in power before knowing that Nddc was not doing their job? Why does he have to wait for? And we agree, like I said, like I postulated from the onset, many of these jobs are shoddy jobs. It's not only for Nddc, it's only Nddc alone. Many of these jobs, generally, they are shoddy jobs. Even the one the state is doing, if he has been able to do it so perfectly, then you cannot claim that, oh, we are not doing this. Is not our standard. You don't even have a standard.
No, you cannot say so.
That's what I'm saying. We don't. I didn't say good. That's why I said, if nothing is done, if strong intervention is not done, to believe good, what has just happened recently, within the next 10 years, if it continues like this, we will sink.
Okay. Now, pharmacist Uyi, perhaps the greatest problem is, this seemingly, facts about the whole situation. In the sense that at times you discover that the state governments and even the Nddc, they really don't come out to inform the people that, look, this is our project, so that people can be carried along until issues and problems come. Before you now begin to see that, oh, this is state government's project, this is Nddc, this is World Bank. You want to,
Evans, I totally agree with you on that. I believe that some of the things that people are saying all around is also getting to the governor. And he has not usually been forthcoming in, going about to tell the people this and this and this one. Unlike some of the past government we have had, and people are confusing a lot of things. But it needs to brace up a little bit in that aspect of governance, because the people need to know, especially now that there are others who are pursuing the same project that they are pursuing within the state. But more importantly, is the fact that we must not pay lip service to some of these activities. What is important is this: whether Mr. A does it, Mr. B does it, a governor was elected in the interest of the general populace. So that whatever goes on, in whatever aspect, even when the local government is not doing what they should do, the governor should seek to know, because part of those who voted him come from those local governments. So he should seek to know, and standards must be maintained. And that is what I think the governor is trying to bring out there. Standards must be maintained. Let us look at, but he must go ahead to tell the people, this and this is what we are doing. For example, a lot of people don't know that work is going on in the Waterstone project right now. You understand? Then a lot of people don't also know what is going on with the Ekiado law. He has not come out to make statements on these things. And
perhaps that's why they call him the wait-and-see governor. So.
Yes, he has not come out to make statements. But I think it should brace up on this aspect, because it is now of necessity that people know what government is doing, where government is going, and all that they should expect within a given period of time. So the governor has not done well in that aspect. That I agree totally. But as far as that is concerned, it is not so difficult to brace up and toe the right path. That's my submission on that.
Okay, Himekwe, finally on this.
Yeah, what we are saying is that he should, like he has said, he doesn't inspect projects. You don't give project out to people and you don't go there. He has never inspected any. You have ever seen inspected any project? Here is a governor that has never come to the press center to address the press and say, look at what I'm doing, look at what, except by internet.
But there is an information being passed.
No, what we are saying is that It should inspect every government, even president sometimes inspect projects. It should inspect this project. You don't just give project out blindly, and whether it is done well, it's not done well, you just keep quiet and nothing is happening. That's part of his problem. It should take time to inspect projects and say, this is what I signed, this is what should be done, this is our expectation. And it was because of this that people can hardly decipher which one was NDDC, which one is World Bank, so every agency started putting their signboard there. If you go to some roads now, you are down, you see NDDC project, you see World Bank project. So I will not know where it is on.
Okay. Now let's quickly read an excerpt from the statement that the governor made concerning this, as written by one of the popular papers. It says that the governor added, that's the governor talking now, I have instructed the state's Solicitor General to begin the process to take legal action against NDDC contractors and of course who execute substandard work in the state, particularly the contractor who handled the projects on Apostolic Street off Sukwamba Road. That is the project in contention, which led to the flooding in the area. We will blacklist them. So that's the state governor now talking on this. And just like what you were trying to say a while ago, that this is not the only failed projects. And how come there are other failed projects in the state that, take for example, the project on Stadium Road. Well, that was not done by Obaseki anyway, but that is also generating issues. If you go through Stadium Road on a rainy day, despite that we have two side drainage, on that road, is almost impassable. Pharmacist.
You see, the governor was talking about the 20 billion fund that was to be expended within the last 6 months. That was the bone of contention. That was the anger he had. Somewhere, he even went ahead to say, the contractors and the NDDC must look for a way to compensate these people that were adversely affected by the flooding. You see, it was that triggered his anger. He was not really set by any means to begin to say, oh, NDDC contracts in so time, we have discovered this, we have discovered that. No. And also understand the context. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee went for a visit. And he said he was surprised now to see the state director of NDDC coming along with him, that they had invited them in the past, and they refused to show up. Then he made that statement out of his concern. And he's talking about it in 6 months. Now, when he talked about blacklisting the contractor, that is something that the state government can do. The territory belongs to the government. And this contractor cannot work in our territory. Please choose another contractor. We are blacklisted this one. Choose another contractor. We are not choosing for you. We are only saying you cannot use this because of his track record in our state. So let us not understand that the context of that was not a question of somebody going to the press to make a statement concerning NDDC, as it were. It was a statement made on the necessity of the occasion. It was necessary for the occasion. So he said, in the past 6 months, this flooding should have been avoided if this 20 billion was expended appropriately. It was an emergency fund. It was expended appropriately. Now, he complained to the people he should complain to, who were on a mission to inspect abandoned projects of the NDDC at that point in time. So, like you say, he will not go to the press center and make this statement. He will not call a press conference and make this statement. He made it based on the fact that those who were there were those who were concerned with the issues, so that the authorities cannot. He sent people to go and inspect that thing long ago. He did not make a statement after the inspection, but he waited for this time.
All right, viewers out there,
let us correct one.
Yeah.
He cannot blacklist any contractor because they are not subject to him. He doesn't even know the contractors are come. It's just like this. Project from National Assembly. You only raise a project. You don't know the contractor that comes. How can he get out to leave his phone? Can say NDDC, these are the contractors. He doesn't have those powers.
Well, we don't have a lawyer here, so we really don't know whether the state government has the power to blacklist any contractor or not. But
no, he can blacklist the contractor that it's doing his own government project.
Not
another person.
He can blacklist them.
He can't.
You know, can blacklist.
Go and look at your book. It's not.
They are
it's
doing
just a
projects in the state.
Is it the owner of the state?
So
the
moment he issues a statement that...
But the governor has powers.
Yeah, but the president has powers.
Yeah. He's a contractor. He's not a government worker. He's a contractor who comes to do job here, When we say, don't do job in any parts of our state, because this, ordinarily, without the NDDC, it is the government of the day that should be responsible for those infrastructural development.
Yes.
So now the law brought in NDDC, to assist in some region of the country. And now the law also went ahead to say that approved developmental measures by the state, NDDC to pay attention to it.
Yes.
Approved. That is to say, the state must also look at this and say, well, this is germane to the interest of our people. So go ahead and do it. By so doing, by implication, the state must also ensure
that the job is well done.
The job is well done.
Yeah.
So when the state also report and say, that is not
it's a personal opinion. To be a personal opinion.
Gentlemen, let us not overweep that now.
The statement will end the way he said it.
Yeah, Mr. Hemekpe, the issues are still ongoing. The ad hoc committee has since gone back to Abuja, and perhaps they may have submitted their report. And also, too, there are still projects going on. And I also understand that even the management of the NDDC now is only interim. They really don't have substantial management, so to say, now. So let's hope and pray that when the management resumes, that they should be able to do something about this accusations, because there's a dent, on the image of the NDDC. There's a dent, so they should be able to do something about that. All right, so gentlemen, we're also going to be looking at political parties' strategies ahead, Edo 2020. This is October 2020. Is just some 2-3 months away from now. And political parties already strategizing on how best they can come up with their candidates in the first place, and also on how best they can, win the election. But there is one thing that is very, very paramount. I mean, it's one thing to come up with a candidate. It is another to win the election. Now, where the incumbent party in power, with the advantage they have, is that they have items, if you like now, to campaign with, developmental strides to campaign with. And for parties in opposition, somehow they really don't have. So that is a very big challenge. So gentlemen, how can we begin to marry all this together in the light of what is going on in Edo State? I'll start with Ihemekwe.
Yeah, you see, if you say a government in power has something to campaign with, they also have something negative about them. Like what we have been discussing just now, we know the kind of money that will be available to them. What have you done with it? We know the shortfall. We know where they are progressing in error. What have you done with it? So I don't think that's an advantage at all. Instead, what we are saying now is that political parties are set, they are preparing their ways on how best they can win the election. And if you talk about, there are two major parties here, but rather, well, it's now turning to three, because one is breaking into two. We talk of this one, APC-A, APC-B, the PDP. These are the three major parties in the state. So every person is strategizing to win the election. And I think every person has also facts and points to use to campaign. If a government, if a particular political party is in government, then you have to tell us which of the branch of them now. Because we are going to have a situation where three parties will emerge in the election. So if it's good, I think it should be a leeway for the PDP. I'm not a politician. I'm not telling you that PDP, but I'm telling you to be a very clean way for PDP. Because when you see two major parties are fighting and one is breaking into two, it's an advantage for the other person.
When you talk about fighting, PDP also had their fights.
They have overcome it. It's over now. It's not a thing of the past.
Okay. Now,
if you are witness their last meeting, their last three meetings, you discover that they are back on stage again.
But don't you think one of the major problems that PDP may have is this change of leadership? We understand that they are likely to change their chairman before the 2020 election.
No, it's not a problem. Constitutionally, no. Constitutionally, everybody has a constitution. Nigeria has a constitution. There are methods you operate ITV. There are constitutions. What was happening was it was just a mere creative tension that at a time in the past, the present chairman was asked to stay for some time before another election. But it has not been resolved that they are at the March 4th. Every person will go. Another executive will come.
March 4th, 2020?
2020,
before the election?
Yeah, before the election. After that March 4th, they will do another Congress.
The election is going to be sometime in February?
No.
Around
June, July, yes.
Okay.
So it doesn't have anything to do at all. The party is on stage. It's on stage.
Okay.
Nothing is happening except progress.
All right, pharmacist.
First of all, let me make this remark. It's difficult to believe that Oga is not a member of the People Democratic Party because you seem to know the internal workings.
I'm a journalist.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I'm a journalist. So if I talk to you, I can talk, if I talk APC with you, or even your ADP, you will be surprised that I know much about you.
Okay.
He supports the PDP, so... anyway, let me get your own finding on this.
You see, 2020 Edo election.
Yeah, very big.
Yes. You see, we cannot talk about this election without looking at the current, the prevailing intrigues in the ruling party. And though my boss here has said that PDP is getting stable and all that, oh, fine. But what is happening in APC, if it is not settled on time, will be a determining factor on the outcome of the elections come 2020. Then again, another aspect of it is what is happening in the House of Assembly. You know, people seem to gloss over that and say, well, it's just the legislator. No, it's not just the legislator. The legislator represents the people. People are already complaining about the fact that those they voted into power have refused to go to the House to represent them.
In other words, they are not represented. The constituencies are not
represented as we speak right now. Okay. Now, all of that from a single party, you know, will snowball into something that will be very interesting to look at. But I tell you, you must distinguish between the those in the political class, as it were, and the general public. Now, for anyone to come through the ranks and contest an election, he must convince those of his political background that he's the candidate they must choose. And that's where I think some of the key actors have problems.
Now, I think those in the political class seems to have upper hand because those are the people that really handle the structure, the political structure of any political scenario. So that's, I want you to take it up from there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You see, it is the politicians or the political class that directs the voters.
Okay.
They handle any other thing. When you see a voter in the street, you are gathering crowd. When it comes to election period or campaign period, it is the political class that directs them, that sensitize the voters. If voters can just say, okay, we vote. When the political class gets there, it is the politician that determines it. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the House of Assembly, the Assembly is already settled. It's settled. Nobody is quarreling about Assembly. They are doing their business. They are doing everything.
No, but you say that the constituencies that are not still being represented.
The constitution was silent. Even if they don't come for inauguration, the constitution was silent. Whether you can expect them, whether you stop them, the constitution was silent about
that. It's not really silent.
It's silent. Wait, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Because it is when you are inaugurated and you are already a part of the Assembly that you can be sanctioned. So you didn't consult a number of days. When you have not been inaugurated, they are just elected. So there is the silence. So all these things we combine to determine what will happen to the ruling party.
Okay, now, pharmacist, I want to take it up from you that the Constitution is not silent.
No, it's not really silent on that. When you are an elected officer of the Assembly, you are expected to have sittings for
a period of time. Is it when you are elected or when you are inaugurated?
When you are
because
elected.
it's one thing to be inaugurated.
When you are elected.
When you are not inaugurated.
When you are elected.
What makes you a member of the House of Assembly?
Okay, it's when you are inaugurated.
Okay, so as it
now,
stands now.
Now you see, this ambiguity can be exploited in the law courts. These people have been chosen by their people as their representatives. They have refused to be inaugurated, even though there is a court declaration that says that the proclamation letter issued by the governor satisfies the requirement of the law. And there is no need for the governor to issue another within the period of an existing house. Therefore, since the governor is not going to issue another, it behoves these ones to go into the house and get inaugurated. So they could seek judicial interpretation of all this. Yeah. For how long shall the constituency remain without their representative? It becomes an issue. And you see, when you also get to the court, moral leanings can also count, especially in areas where there are ambiguities. And it could fall in the discretion of the judiciary to make pronouncements. And now, this is hanging. The governor, as it were now, has the kind of House of Assembly that he wants. Under cover, they could use the speaker to declare this is vacant. If the number of days they are supposed to sit, they have not satisfied those days.
No, that's what we are saying.
They are not inaugurated. They are not members yet.
I think those number of those number of days have been fully exhausted. I mean, we are really not getting reactions.
I don't think they have been exhausted.
No, I think so. I think it has been exhausted. It has been exhausted.
It has been exhausted.
It has been exhausted because as I did a show on that about 2-3 weeks ago, and as at then it was about 11 days remaining. So the way it stands now, those number of days have been exhausted. So it then
what
means...
except it tested in the law court to deepen democracy, the Constitution is silent on it.
And when the Constitution is silent on a matter, a pronouncement by the judiciary
until that time comes,
will now form part of the jurisprudence, and it will now form part of. It will now become a reference point.
Yeah, but even on there's no judge that will go ahead to make his own personal pronouncement. He has to follow the law.
When the law is silent on a matter, you know, occasionally it falls like that. The law is not so loud on a particular issue. Then certain things like the moral issues, the moral components of the matter, which the judge could also exploit based on his discretion.
Yeah, well, you're talking about morality and law.
No, you don't say that. When it is not silent, that does not come in. Okay. When it is silent, it is taken, the judge can use discretion. There is something called discretion. There is something called discretion in law.
So as it relates to this case now, you see that at the end of the day, those members that have not been inaugurated...
It has to be tested.
That's what I said.
It has to be tested.
Until it is tested to the level of Supreme Court.
What I am saying...
Which are
what I am saying is that we cannot now go home and say, well, since they've not been inaugurated, they are safe. Since they are not being inaugurated, the other party are also looking at it. They are looking at what to do. Now, if they also come to the knowledge that, the law is silent on these things, they can as well say, let's throw it to the law. Let the judiciary go and interpret this matter. You understand? And that too could become an issue that will be a factor in the elections that are coming.
Okay, just take it up from there. You know, looking at the possible implication for 2020 elections.
The implications are clear. What is happening, they will remain like this. You know, incidentally, they are from the same party. It will remain like this until the primaries of their party. The primaries of that party, their party, will determine which way they go. If these people did not come and there's primaries, if the primary changes position, maybe, for instance, Obaseki is not taking. The people that are with him today now will go back to their party. They won't go with him to wherever he's going. They won't go with him. They will remain in their party. And remain in their party, the other people cannot come to be inaugurated because nobody will stop them from being inaugurated. Then they feel that they will do their changeover, what they want to change. Why I said it's not an assembly issue. If they really wanted to come, say they don't want a particular person, a speaker, household, they will come there and impeach that person. There are more. But they didn't come.
There are not more at the moment, sir.
The way it stands now is they are not more. They are just they are running pari passu.
Okay, whichever. So what I'm saying is not a matter of positions. So we are just waiting. Every person is waiting. When there are primaries, when primaries will come, there must be primaries. If, for instance, an example, Obaseki is not taken by APC, you think the assembly people will follow him to wherever he's going? The ones that you say they are with him now, they won't.
Well,
Okay, now, pharmacists, one other thing that we seem not to be seeing...
And they would remain in the party. And if they remain in their party, they determine what they want to do.
Yeah, pharmacists, now, let's look at this thing that we're not seeing now. Because I know that prior to 2016, that was the last time we had the governorship election in the state that gave rise to Godwin Obaseki as the governor. We saw lots of political education from political parties, from the Independent National Electoral Commission, from the National Orientation Agency, and some other governmental agencies and all that. But this time, we're talking about election months from now. We're not seeing anything.
Well, there's time yet.
There's time?
Oh, there's time yet for all those to take place. But we must understand that the ruling party, as it were, is having deep crisis, which, you know, only they know exactly how they feel. And
we also understand that your own party had their own share the other time. So I think we should.
Ours was mainly from the national level.
That's the way it starts. National interest, state interest, and before you know it, it's snowballs.
We are working hard to put things in order.
Okay, so you still have that as an issue.
Yeah, it's always there. You see, I said something while we were discussing the NDC thing that the political class are a special class. They have ways and means of thinking. They have ways of resolving their issues because they have a way of thinking. Now, they will just go into the room and come out and tell you all is well. A pronouncement from Abuja could even settle what is happening in Edo State right now. Anything could happen at the last minute. Concessions could happen. And that is one of the reasons we see that some governors go into power with their hands tied. The issue that this man is having here right now is because he does not want his hands tied. He wants to just be the governor. We cannot also say that he doesn't have his own personal idiosyncrasies and all of that. Everybody does that. But again, you could see that I have had some personal contact at the official level with him. And I see the way he takes up issues. He's interested in resolving issues. But you and I are members of this society for a very long time. We know that not many people are also interested in some of these issues being resolved. Like
in other words, some people thrive.
They thrive.
Yeah, during
crisis. Like some a politician, a comedian jokingly said, he said, oh, that we would have prayed for. There's so much thing to talk about as comedians in the crisis that Nigeria is going through. He said, it remains small, me person, they think, may the crisis not end so that we can be having jokes to say. Yeah. Now, that is also the thinking of so many politicians. They're not interested in how this country turns out. How this day turns out. They're interested in what comes to us. And once you begin to toe a different line, it's a problem for you. It's basically what is happening in the APC. And I must also admit, Obaseki has not employed a lot of tact in handling some of these bedeviling issues. And that is why he's here and all of that. That is why he's losing so many of the party people that should have also been with him.
Are you sure he's really doing that? Is he losing? Do you have statistics to show?
Well, you see, some of the, if you look at it critically, in the major areas where APC holds sway, where the party is large, in the cosmopolitan local government.
But you are not in the APC, so you probably cannot
speak are political watchers.
For the APC.
We know what is happening. We have friends amongst them. And
they give you reliable
information? Yes, they give reliable information. You know, a lot of this happens. We don't want to mention names, but the leaders in some of these areas, they are disgruntled. They are disgruntled, really disgruntled. I have had to speak with so many of them. They are disgruntled. And why are they disgruntled? For that one thing. Somebody in the past used to do this. Somebody in the present is not doing certain things that somebody in the past used to do. And the person in the present is saying, no, I will not go that way. So, but some are saying that he should have find a way of reaching the middle point. But the question I ask is, what is that middle point? Because once you start to do certain things, you must continue to do those things. Now that is the problem. Now, on the part of the PDP, it is not yet huru for the PDP.
Right, let me hook you and come to Himekme. Now, Himekme on the part of the PDP, really, because there are saying here and there that the PDP has eyes, for a particular member who probably has some political engagements already in Abuja. But again, there are also feelers that the members seem not to be interested. Don't you think that that perhaps may be a big challenge for the People's Democratic Party as we glide towards 2020 elections?
You are talking from outside. I will talk from inside.
All right, I want to talk from inside.
What I'm telling you, there is no problem, nothing like that at all. No person, no special person from Abuja, no special person from Edo State. It is a free franchise.
Now, but are you saying that it's wrong for the PDP to begin to envisage somebody that may possibly be their flag bearer at this time?
Okay, let me give you an information.
Yeah.
The last meeting, the last enlarged meeting by leaders, it was agreed that there is no zoning. There will be zoning. So that if you want to be governor, come, you have the means, you have the popularity, come and contest primaries.
But zoning is in their constitution.
I'm coming. I'm telling you what will result. Zoning is in the constitution. It's not a compulsion. Zoning is a convenient measure by politicians to capture votes. What I'm telling you, we resolve that there will not be zoning.
Okay.
For the governorship. There will also not be zoning for chairmanship. So if you, Evans, wins the primary to be governor, then your wife can also win to be chairman of the party. So be it. After all, in party, you are young in this. You are new in this our arrangement. In 2012. Our governor was Osumbo, but from Edo Central. The chairman was Aguele from Edo Central. Just the same local government there. We did it. There was if not the court that removed Osumbo, we were enjoying it.
All right, gentlemen. I think that's where we have to. Yeah.
No, wait. I'm going to try to educate you so that there's no. That PDP is on board.
How are you enjoying this, sir? I don't know if you can portray that.
The party was going on. The party was going on. The party was going on. And things were going until the court removes Osumbo. He was still a governor, and our chairman was still a chairman.
Okay. All right, thank you. Because of time, Ihumekwe, thank you so much. Please extend a handshake to pharmacist.
Thank you, sir.
Pharmacist Uye. I understand that you guys are preparing for your Pharmacy Week 2019.
We have a program for today.
Well, I don't want you to do that. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much.